These are 7 new wonders of the world for 2023. 1. Mont Saint-Michel, France. 1,000 years ago, in 1023, work began building this astonishing Gothic-style Benedictine abbey, known throughout the medieval world as the Wonder of the West. It's easy to see why, teetering on top of a rocky outcrop, half a mile out to sea in the middle of the Bay of Mont Saint-Michel. It looks like something dreamt up in a fairy tale. Located on the border of Normandy and Brittany, the bay is home to Europe's largest tidal range, reaching close to 50 feet in spring. At low tide, it's possible to walk barefoot to the abbey, crossing the vast sandflats that surround it. At high tide, it appears to float on the sea like an ocean mirage. It took 500 years for it to be completed and drew pilgrims from across the world. And though the abbey is itself an architectural marvel, it is the combination of sea and stone that sets it apart. Perhaps nowhere else in Europe is the aesthetic brilliance of architecture complemented so alluringly by the natural world. 2. Perito Moreno Glacier, Argentina. Argentina may have won the World Cup, but Lionel Messi's not the country's only wonder. Perito Moreno is considered by many to be the most beautiful glacier on Earth. Located in Los Glaciares National Park, in the far southern reaches of Patagonia, this vast wall of jagged turquoise ice covers more than 100 square miles and reaches almost 200 feet high. It is a powerful place. Hike to a viewpoint or take a boat to the edge of the glacial wall, and you can hear the thunder of cracking ice as enormous icebergs are cast into the deep blue waters of Lake Argentina. Sparkling in the sun like crystals, they drift across the bay in dazzling forms and glowing color, dwarfed by the vast tongue of ice from which they're born. 3. AlUla, Saudi Arabia. AlUla is a place of extraordinary history and cultural heritage. But until recently almost no one had heard of it, let alone visited. That's changing. At the end of 2022, the site officially opened its doors to visitors and, in doing so, unveiled a more than 200,000-year-old piece of Arabian history. Located in the heart of Saudi Arabia's northwestern desert, much of it is still undiscovered too. It is estimated that less than 5% of the site has been excavated. The UNESCO World Heritage Site of Hegra is famous for its elaborate monumental tombs carved into stark red sandstone cliffs. AlUla Old Town is a labyrinth of now abandoned mud brick houses strewn with the earthy hues of the desert. 4. Tiger's Nest Monastery, Bhutan. The end of 2022 saw the completion of the long-awaited Trans Bhutan Trail, a 250-mile long-distance trekking route that crosses the country from Ha in the west to Trashigang in the east. Passing through 27 local villages, dozens of temples, and 12 mountain passes, it is, perhaps, the ultimate way to see one of the last great Himalayan kingdoms. In many ways, the country itself is a true wonder, surrounded as it by the world's highest peaks and a deeply authentic Himalayan culture. But Tiger's Nest Monastery, or Paro Tak Sang, is special, perched literally on the edge of a cliff 3,000 feet above the Paro Valley. This complex of 4 Buddhist temples and residential buildings, with whitewashed walls, bright red roofs, and golden domed ceilings, is almost too precarious to be real. 5. Cappadocia, Turkey. 2023 marks 100 years since the end of the Ottoman Empire and the beginning of modern Turkey. Sitting at the crossroads of Europe and Asia, Turkey is rich with awe-inspiring culture and heritage, but it's also home to one of the world's great natural wonders, Cappadocia. This otherworldly expanse of enormous rock towers, called fairy chimneys, streaked in red It's what's inside them that makes Cappadocia truly special. Starting around 1200 BC, people began carving homes inside the rock itself, but these are no ordinary caves. The rock homes of Cappadocia are like works of art, with detailed facades, doors, windows, and staircases hewn from the mountain within. Entire towns have been hollowed out under the ground like inverted skyscrapers. 6. The Lake District, Great Britain. Spanning 190 miles across northern England from St. Bees on the Irish Sea to Robin Hood Bay on the North Sea. It has grown to become the most popular long-distance hike in the country. There are many highlights, but undoubtedly the most beautiful part of all is the section which crosses the Lake District. This treasured national park is filled to the brim with wonders. Lake Windermere, the largest body of water in the park. Stock Gilforce, one of the country's most spectacular waterfalls. Scaffold Pike, the 3,209 feet highest peak in England, and more. 7. The Sardine Run, South Africa. The Sardine Run is one of the ocean's most remarkable events. Every year from May through July, tens of millions of sardines migrate along South Africa's wild coast. It is estimated that, in terms of biomass, it rivals even the great wildebeest migration in Africa. Shoals can reach up to 9 miles long. The activity in the water is so intense it can be witnessed from an airplane. Can reach up to 9 miles long. The activity in the water is so intense it can be witnessed from an airplane. But the sardines are only half the story. Following in their wake are scores of great white sharks, orcas, and numerous other predators who herd them into tightly packed bait balls to make them easier to catch. It is a feeding frenzy on an epic scale. Those intrepid enough to dive or snorkel with them will be surrounded by enormous globes of silver scales darting through the water, trying to escape the hungry mouths that follow them. Luckily, those mouths are too busy gorging themselves to care about us humans sharing the water with them. They call it the Blue Serengeti, and it is one of the most exhilarating underwater adventures on the planet. Jump in if you dare! Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell for updated videos.